The weather is about to get very crazy as the Ohio Valley is facing flooding, damaging winds, hail, and a potential for tornadoes. Meanwhile, parts of northern Texas, western Oklahoma, and parts of southwestern Kansas and northeastern New Mexico deals with a potential for damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes as well. So I'm going to be talking about what you need to know about this crazy weather pattern. So let's get right into the video. It is Friday, May 22nd, 2026, and we have 3 areas to watch for potential severe weather today. The main concern today will be out here in parts of the Texas Panhandle, western Oklahoma, northeastern New Mexico, and southwestern Kansas. Another area that we got to be watching though is out here in parts of the Ohio Valley and the south. And there's also an area up here in parts of the Midwest. The main concerns for today will be some damaging winds and hail, but an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out here in the Texas Panhandle. We can't even rule out an isolated tornado out here in parts of the Ohio Valley. We also have some potentials for some damaging winds today down here. It's going to be the area that we're watching very closely for damaging winds, but you also have some potentials for some damaging winds out here in parts of the Ohio Valley and then up here in eastern Nebraska. So definitely be sure you're strapping down on scared objects so they don't fly away. We also have a threat for some large to very large hail out here in parts of the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma, where there's a Sig 2. And that means we could be seeing up to hail up to hen egg size. We also have a threat for some smaller hail out here in parts of the eastern Nebraska areas. Tomorrow on Saturday, we have also 3 areas to watch. One is out here in parts of the southeast, one is down here in parts of southern Texas, and then another one is up here in the Texas Panhandle. So for tomorrow on Saturday, main threats for tomorrow will be damaging winds and hail. There's no tornado risk right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they added one, but you can see out here in Georgia, you can see there's a 5% wind risk out there. There's also a 5% wind risk out here in parts of Texas and the southern Texas, and then there's another 5% wind risk in the Texas Panhandle. And then you can see here we also have hail risks out in these same areas where some hail is also going to be a potential. Mainly just small hail is going to be is probably going to be the main concern with this. And then Sunday, we could have some severe weather up here in eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. There's also going to be a very big flooding threat today if you're out here in parts of the Ohio Valley and towards the southern parts of the United States. There's also going to be a flooding risk out here in parts of the southern plains. Here's the future radar out here for the Texas Panhandle. You can see if we push this up, you can see we're going to get some storms to develop out there in parts of the Texas Panhandle. Initiation should begin around 5 p.m. Eastern. And then these storms will continue to push through. This is what could look like at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, and then this is what could look like at 10 p.m. Eastern. Storms could be producing damaging winds, potentially in excess of potentially hurricane force winds, potentially even more if these storms really get their act together. You can see pushing this up some more. Those storms will continue and then they'll kind of die out through the night and kind of weaken out. So yeah, but looks like they'll be pretty long track storms and they'll probably last for a while, and potentially into western Mississippi on the Saturday around 5 p.m. So it's going to be a pretty long storm that we're looking at over here. And you can see here we can't rule out maybe an isolated tornado out here, but mainly we're looking at damaging winds and hail out here. You can see we're also going to have some storm fuel out here. This is CAPE, stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. This is basically storm fuel. See, it's not the most storm fuel, but we're definitely going to have some out there for those storms. Let's go over to Ohio Valley. You can see that we're going to have a trough move through, and potentially having a chance for an isolated tornado or two within some of these areas, some damaging winds and hail. And then you can see, look at all that rain that we're going to be getting. For in those low-lying areas, definitely be prepared for potential flooding today. Make sure you're having a way to get warnings, as there's going to be potential that we get a lot of flood warnings out there. We already got some flood watches ongoing. But these storms are going to continue, and some of these storms that pop up out here in parts of the Ohio Valley could have a chance to produce some damaging winds, hail, and maybe even an isolated brief spin-up tornado. So definitely be sure you're having a way to get alerts. Then you can see here, if we switch over to SIGTOR here, it's not the highest levels of SIGTOR, but you can see that we definitely do got a little bit of significant tornado parameter out there. I think out there in parts of western Alabama and parts of eastern Mississippi is probably going to be where our main tornado threat is going to be today. So I'm definitely going to be watching those areas very closely. And you can see here, storm fuel is not as high as over there in the Texas Panhandle, but we still got some storm fuel out there. And then out there for eastern Nebraska, this is what the future radar could look like over there. We're just going to have a line of storms push through, producing mainly a chance for gusty winds and hail. You can see here the reason all of this is happening because we're having this trough out here that came out of the Rockies, but now it's over here in parts of the northern plains. That's going to be causing those severe weather chances out there. And then we're also going to have this trough kind of over there in the Ohio Valley. kind of some of that blue stuff, and that's going to push through some of those areas, and that's going to be causing those severe weather chances in parts of the Ohio Valley. Another thing that's helping the severe weather chances is that we're having all this Gulf moisture surging into the United States, and especially the Ohio Valley. We're having all that Gulf moisture surging upward, and that's going to be helping those storms, and that's parts of the ingredients that you need for severe weather. And then for tomorrow and Saturday, you can see this is the future radar for tomorrow. You can see we're going to have some storms pop up out there in the southeast, causing that severe weather chance in parts of western South Carolina and parts of Georgia. You guys need to be prepared for potential severe weather tomorrow. As you can see, we're going to have some storms pop up out there, producing chance for damaging winds and hail. And then if we go over to parts of Texas out here, you can see that we're also going to have those storms down there. And these storms could try to produce some damaging winds and hail as well, so that's also something to be watching. And then there's also that area up here in parts of the Texas Panhandle that we're also keeping an eye on for potential severe weather tomorrow. Then in eastern Nebraska, you can see on Sunday, I wouldn't rule out maybe a chance for an isolated tornado. Keep an eye on this, is a Rufus model, so it's not going to be like, I don't think it's that accurate. But you can see we're going to have some storms pop up out there and kind of push through in eastern Nebraska, potentially having a chance for maybe an isolated tornado, damaging winds, as well as some hail. Take a look at the GFS model. You can see if we push this up some more, as we get into Monday, I wouldn't rule out maybe a chance for some severe weather out there in parts of the southeast. So we're going to have a storm system push through down there. Mainly just probably excessive rainfall threat. And pushing this up some more. Looks like we're still going to get a lot of rain out there in parts of the southeast, which might help with the drought, so that's definitely good. But pushing this up some more, it seems like this is going to be a pretty active weather pattern as we enter late May, potentially, as we might get some more severe weather throughout late May. So that's definitely going to be something that we got to keep a very close eye on. I don't think it will be as significant, though, as the severe weather that we had in mid-May. However, some of it could actually get pretty significant with a trough that could come out into the United States, like this one around Thursday, May 28th. So we're definitely going to be watching some of these troughs that try to come through. But definitely it looks like a pretty weird-looking weather pattern. Checking out temperature anomaly, you can see we're going to have a warm-up try to come through here. As you guys can see, it's going to start warming up out there with a big heat dome that's going to kind of sit over the United States, especially parts of the northern plains. It's going to be pretty nice up there, but also out there in parts of the eastern half of the United States, we're just going to have a big heat dome set up, and a big chunk of the United States should be dealing with some pretty nice weather with nice warm air. And then out there in parts of the Rockies and kind of California areas, you guys might get some cooler air, though, around Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So you guys might get some cooler air on those days, maybe even Thursday and Friday. So yeah, pretty much that's all I got for you today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Stay weather aware, and I will see you guys in the next weather update video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.